Hi everyone, welcome to Unpack US Immigration with Imigify, and my name is Opeyemi. Today with me is the co-founder of Imigify. Hi, welcome.
Thanks, Okoyemi. Hi, my name is Emma, one of the co-founders at Indicify. Um, Hoping for an exciting session today. I know you got a couple of questions you want to ask me, so I'm excited
Yeah,
to shed some light on what we
so
do.
nice to have you. Despite your busy schedule, you still have time for us. Thank you very much for coming on the show. So let's start simple. What exactly is H1B and why is it such a big deal with professionals around the world?
That's a great question. H-1B is an employment-based visa category. The what made it so popular is anyone who's eligible can get it. It's simple in the sense that if a US employer needs to hire someone to bring them over to work, all they have to do is put their name and their credentials in a raffle that is held once a year. Once that raffle is held, about between 85,000 to 120,000 sometimes folks are selected from that raffle. Once your name is selected, the company can then go ahead and bring you to the US. So it's more like a game of luck. However, it has a high chance, about 20 to 30% chance. You have about 20, 30% chance of being selected, depending on the number of people in the pool. Because they do the pool to pick 85,000, the first draw. Sometimes they come back and do more. So just giving a background why it became so popular. It means that just anybody can get lucky in this raffle. So a lot of employers find it a lot easier to just lean on it because all they have to do is put your name in the raffle. If you get selected, they can bring you over to the US. Now, there are companies who also get H1B, but they call them exempt because they don't have to go through that lottery. They can just file for anyone. And there are also companies who, even though they have to go through the annual pool, they have reserved slot just because of their size or their partnership with government. I'm talking about Microsoft, Amazon, those bigger corporations. So one of the fastest way to move to the US on a work visa is via H1B, and that's why H1B is very popular. In the US, there are hundreds of thousands or almost millions of people on H1B coming from China, India, and every other country. I think in the recent times, Nigeria just
That's
got
good.
to know.
Thank you for that. What kind of policy or rule changes that are making H1B add very like now?
So, in terms of policy or rule changes that is making H1B inaccessible right now, make it more difficult. The present administration just came up with a rule to make sure they can protect folks who are already here. People who are here on a student visa or who have been educated in the US or they're already on H1B, they said they are fine to continue enjoying the process of H1B. However, if you're outside of the US and you didn't school in the US and an employer wants to bring you into the US, the employer must pay $100,000 as a fee to be able to bring you in to the US because their argument is whatever skill you're coming with, there should be someone already here who has that skill. Why don't you hire locally? Why you bring in someone from the outside the US? So the 100,000 is only for people who didn't school in the US or who are not currently in the US. Any one of those employers that want to bring them would have to pay 100,000. So that's the new rule. Yeah.
That's a lot of money, and even after paying that, what's the assurance that they're going to be getting the visa?
That's a great question. Every process when it comes to immigration has its own risk. Yes, after paying the 100,000, if they file their case and they didn't file correctly, they can still get denied and refused. So yes, there is no guarantee whatsoever. That's why it's a huge risk for businesses, and that's why a lot of businesses are not looking at bringing people outside the US right now through H1B.
So, what mindset should people adopt going into 2026 to stay ahead of the visa changing policies?
I would say generally, I would encourage everyone to stay close to the news. But when you get the news, you have to drill down for facts. What's in the news and the headlines might say one thing, the actual fact might say another thing. Here's why. Even though H1B has $100,000 fee on it right now, there are tons of other work-based visa that are still open and there are no changes. For instance, L1, O1A, O1B, O1C, those are work-based visas. The rule has not changed, and people can still take advantage of those. So, and even up to green card opportunities that does not require U.S. employer, like the EB1, EB2, all of the national interest waiver, all of those categories are still open. So people go into, as we all go into 2026, I would encourage everyone to, stay abreast of information, but most importantly, start planning a strategy. The earlier you get in the process, the better. For instance, those who already went through the H-1B process earlier, they are exempted from this new rule. So a lot of times, if you have started the process and a new rule comes on, they usually apply the new rule, after for new people that will be signing up. The people that were already in the process are usually exempted. So as you think about 2026 strategy, make sure you plan to get on board with whatever plan you've set aside immigration wise. Start early before another rule come that will bar you from being able to access it.
That's interesting. So you say that if you want to start now. Tomorrow might be too late.
That's what I would recommend. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for taking out of your time to come on the show to with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here today. So that's what we have from our hand, and thank you for coming very much, even during your busy schedule, just today to come to the show. Thank you very much for coming. It's so pleasure to have you, Mr. Hema.
I appreciate you for having me. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I love to provide information that is helpful to people. So always excited to share.
Thank you very much. And to our wonderful viewers, we're going to be having this episode every Friday. So do want to subscribe to our channel to get more updates about immigration with Immigrify. Thank you for watching. Bye.